Now that we have a little bit of awareness about empathy towards other people when doing our transport planning or doing anything transport, I'm going to pass now the microphone to Crystal, my colleague Crystal, who will talk about how else we can put action into our realizations. So Crystal, please.
Thank you, Keisha, for giving me the floor and for the introduction. And good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Cedeno. I'm a junior specialist for communication and gender in transport at JZ, and I'm part of the Transport Week team. And it's a pleasure and an honor for me to be here today on behalf of the Global Alliance for Feminist Transport. The walk of privilege we just experienced was really powerful. It showed us how mobility barriers and opportunities are unfairly distributed. As we saw, while some could step forward really easily, others were left behind. In transport systems, privilege can mean feeling safe at night, having reliable options, or being heard in transport planning. But disadvantages, as we saw, could mean quite the opposite. So daily risks, limited options, or invisibility in decision-making. Our work showed us that mobility is never neutral, and that actually it could reflect inequalities. Over the last days at Transport and Climate Change Week, we have been asking ourselves, what progress did we make in tackling climate change in the transport sector? And which strategies could maybe accelerate this transformation? One answer is really clear. We cannot accelerate this transformation if half of the world population is excluded from mobility systems. Gender equity, safety, and inclusions are not nice extras to have. They are essential climate strategies, because inclusion can strengthen climate action. When women and caregivers have access to safe and affordable public transport, emissions fall. When inclusion is prioritized, resilience rises. When safety is guaranteed, trust in public transport grows. This is exactly the vision behind the Global Alliance for Feminist Transport, the first global hub on feminist mobility. The Global Alliance was launched at the International Transport Forum on 2024 last year, and is a shared initiative founded by three amazing networks: Women Mobilize Women, Mujeres and Movimiento, and Women on the Move Asia. The Global Alliance empowers and connects individuals, organizations, and networks working worldwide toward greater gender equitable transport systems. Our vision is to amplify feminist perspective in the transport sector by highlighting who, how, and what is moving our cities toward greater equity. For transport to be really sustainable, it must be designed for everyone, enabling access to healthcare, to community life, to jobs, and to education. Earlier this year, the Global Alliance launched the call for impact, No One Left Behind, our contribution to the upcoming UN Decade of Sustainable Transport, which was already signed by more than 40 organizations. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous because actually it's really a topic that is close to my heart, and I think that we all could feel that. So I'm really sorry for this. The call for impact sets out 10 strategic objectives that I'm going to share with you as a vision rather than as a list. They start at the institutional level, calling for gender equity to be embedded in laws, in professional trainings, in education, in governance, and in planning, because justice starts with how decisions are taken and by whom. They call for affordable and equitable access so that mobility can be seen as a right rather than as a privilege. They put care at the center, designing for caregivers, for people with disabilities, for children, and for the elderly. They see safety as non-negotiable, with zero tolerance for violence and for harassment. They demand for fair and dignified jobs in the transport sector, especially for women and for informal workers. The objectives also include building resilient climate systems that can take into account and can protect the more vulnerable communities. They, of course, call also for more women in leadership. They demand a collection of better gender disaggregated and intersectional data so that planning can be grounded in reality. They demand for participatory models that will see community as co-creators rather than as tokens. And finally, they underline the importance of dedicated financing, because unfortunately, without resources, gender and equity goals remain symbolic. Taken together, these objectives form a roadmap, not of abstract principles, but of lived realities. Behind each of these objectives, there is a real person, a real experience. A mother walking long distance with her children because she has no bus that serves her route. a person with disabilities who has to commute and has to face broken sidewalks or inaccessible stations, or a female bus driver seeking and demanding for an equal pay. The call for impact is more than a technical agenda. It's a moral imperative to design with dignity and safety into every journey. As we will continue our conversations today during Transport Week, but hopefully also the next days, I warmly invite you to take a closer look to the poster that you have on your table and also on this pinboard. And you have a QR code there that you can scan, and it will directly link you to the call for impact. So I invite you to read it, to share it, and to explore the job of the Global Alliance. And seeing from here so many committed and inspirational women, I also invite you to join the expert database of the Global Alliance. There is no longer any excuse for a manual, for an all-male panel on sustainable mobility. If we want to empower and attract women in the transport sector, then women must have a seat on the table. And their expertise should shape the future of sustainable transport. As I see from here, Consuelo, I would also like to, if you could raise your hand maybe, I would also like to thank her because I had the privilege and the honor to work with her and to give a visual identity to the call for impact. So I'm really happy about the result, and I hope you also like it, but of course, feel free to take a closer look and to maybe share your feedback. And the upcoming decade of sustainable transport is a unique opportunity. If gender equity and safety and inclusion are embedded at its heart, the next 10 years could deliver not only on climate targets, but also on gender equity and inclusion. Because for transport to be really sustainable, it must also be inclusive. And this means ensuring that no one is ever left behind. And with this, I would like to give back the mic to Keisha, and thank you everyone for the attention.